Things have not been going well for right-wing news website Breitbart of Trump advisor Steve Bannon fame. Their ad revenue has been falling off a cliff. More and more companies have been pulling ad from the website. There's been a really great social media shame campaign to get advertisers to pull money from Breitbart. And there's now a new allegation against Breitbart, and it relates to the failed candidacy of serial accused child sex assaulter Roy Moore in Alabama's special election. A lawyer representing one of Moore's accusers has come forward and said that some of Roy Moore's supporters offered him money to drop the accuser as a client. Now, how does it involve Breitbart? Part of the offer was that the lawyer would make a specific statement about dropping the accuser as a client, which would be released only and directly to Breitbart News. He would also be paid $10,000 and get the pleasure, I guess, of being introduced directly to Stephen Bannon. So this has immediately raised questions about why did he have to go to Breitbart with a statement as part of the agreement? Why would anyone even think to include that? Was anyone involved in trying to pay off the attorney to drop his client working with or connected to Breitbart in the first place? And the bigger question is the allegation credible? And I don't really have trouble believing that Breitbart and Moore supporters would try to hurt the accusers by getting rid of their legal representation. The only part that strikes me as less believable is that they think they could buy the lawyer with just $10,000, right? You would imagine that professional bribers know you've got to offer more than 10 grand to a lawyer to get them to drop such a notable client who's in the public eye. And for what it's worth, the people named in the article as being involved in reaching out to the lawyer haven't denied doing this. They've simply said, we did not do anything wrong or illegal, which is basically like saying, yeah, we did it and it was perfectly fine to do. And the projection here is just stunning, because you'll remember that when the Washington Post first broke some of the stories of these accusers of Roy Moore, you had people on the right who were saying the Washington Post paid the women to make up the stories. Now of course, there was no evidence of that. Now we learn that it actually might have been the right trying to pay off the lawyers representing the accusers so that they would drop the cases. And it is absolutely pathetic and disgusting if true. There's a very clear silver lining here, though, which is that Breitbart really seems to be in disarray and on its way down. That is a really great media story. It remains to be seen if they ultimately meet their total demise. But the latest allegations that they were directly involved in this, truly and absolutely disgusting. And we'll continue to follow what ultimately happens with Breitbart. Today's program is sponsored in part by Shaker and Spoon, which is a really great monthly cocktail subscription box that sends you the craft cocktail experience right to your door. You get all of the ingredients you need for 3 completely new original recipes. It's 12 total cocktails worth. I got, for example, the Death by Gin box, which gives me all of the ingredients except for the gin for 3 different gin-based cocktails. I then go out and get the gin that I like, which in my case is a dry gin. My favorite of the 3 drinks was the Above a Persimmon. Love persimmons. I've always loved persimmons growing up. Not the most popular fruit in my friend group. Is it a fruit? I guess technically it is. But I really like it. And the Above a Persimmon is a really, really great drink. My box also came with the Taurus Tea Gimlet and the Valet. You get really easy to follow instruction cards for each drink, as well as exactly how much of each ingredient you need, the right order to put it all together. I even found myself grating nutmeg on top of one of the drinks. And the really great thing for me is that I just hate throwing stuff out. And a lot of times when you need an ingredient for something that you don't use for too many recipes, like for example, I don't cook with nutmeg too much. I might buy a bunch of nutmeg and then end up with a bunch left over and I throw it out eventually. I hate that. I hate wasting ingredients. And that's the great thing about the Shaker and Spoon box, that you actually get the amount of each ingredient that you need. And for a limited time, you can get $20 off by going to shakerandspoon.com/Pakman. Link in the video description if you're watching this on YouTube.